Are you looking to get the darkest lawn in your neighborhood? Today, I'm gonna give you 3 ways on how you can do exactly that. And what's crazy is if you combine all 3 of these applications, you'll probably have the darkest lawn in your entire state, to be honest. Let's get into it. The first way to get a dark green lawn is to apply fertilizer. Now, when it comes to fertilizer, it can get very confusing on what to buy. There's so many different brands, varieties, and taglines, it's hard to know what is what and what you're actually putting down. But luckily for you, I'm gonna break down exactly what you should be looking for with fertilizer to get your lawn dark green and where to buy it. Now, when it comes to color, the most important ingredient in most fertilizers is going to be nitrogen. The reason for this is because nitrogen is the main building block of chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is what makes your grass green.
Chlorophyll? More like borophyll.
Basically, without enough nitrogen, your grass can't produce enough chlorophyll, which means it struggles to grow and looks pale or yellowish instead of that deep green color. So when you increase the nitrogen in your soil, your grass will produce more chlorophyll, which means darker grass for you. Now I'm gonna break down a couple bags of fertilizer so you can see exactly what you're looking at in the stores, and then I'm gonna recommend the best nitrogen fertilizers for your money. Now, the first thing you're gonna wanna look for on any bag of fertilizer is these 3 numbers. These 3 numbers represent the same thing on every bag of fertilizer you buy. The first number is nitrogen, the second number is phosphorus, and the third number is potassium. These 3 ingredients are called macronutrients. They're called macronutrients because they are the most important nutrients for your lawn to thrive. Each number represents the percentage of each ingredient inside the bag. For example, on this 1846, the 18 means that this 50-pound bag is composed of 18% nitrogen. Now, before I completely nerd out, I want to make this as simple as possible.
Nerd.
For our purpose of making our lawn dark green, the only number we care about is the first number, nothing else. The phosphorus and potassium aren't going to do much for us when it comes to color. They help with other things that we aren't going to discuss in this video. There's also going to be all kinds of other ingredients and taglines on the bag. Let's just ignore all of that for now. We just want to concentrate on the nitrogen, that very first number. Now, a higher number doesn't always mean better. You want to get the best bang for your buck when it comes to that nitrogen. So let me give you an example. This 25-pound bag of 1655 costs $50. But this 50-pound bag of 1246 costs $70. Which one is the better deal? Now, to figure this out, you're gonna want to know how much pure nitrogen is in the bag for the best dollar amount. To figure that out, you just multiply 16% times the weight of the bag, and that gives you 4 pounds of nitrogen. You then divide that dollar amount by the amount of pure nitrogen, and that gives you $12.50 for 1 pound of nitrogen. Now, if we do the same thing for the other bag, it comes out to $11.67 per pound of nitrogen, giving us a much better bang for our buck, even though the nitrogen percentage is lower. Now, this math comes in handy when you're at a big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot. But there's an even cheaper place to get fertilizer, and that's from a local co-op or feed store. Now, I realize that not everyone has access to these stores, but if you do, it's a great place to get fertilizer. When you go to these co-ops or feed stores, you can buy urea and ammonium sulfate for much better prices than any other big box store. Urea and ammonium sulfate are fertilizers that are mainly comprised of nitrogen, which means they are the best priced fertilizers you can find. Urea will have a much better bang for your buck, but it's harder to get even coverage with this fertilizer because the prills are so big and so potent. Ammonium sulfate will cost a little more, but it's a little easier than urea to get even coverage and also provides a deeper green up. If you don't have access to these stores, I'll give you another option later in this video. The second way to get an incredibly dark lawn is iron. Iron is another soil amendment that we can put on our lawn to help it get super dark green. Now, there are definitely pros and cons to iron when it compares to fertilizer. Some of the pros are that it doesn't make your grass grow like nitrogen does. Nitrogen feeds your grass and makes it grow much faster than it would without it. But iron does not have that same effect. Iron will just turn your grass super dark green, and it's an awesome product for darkening your lawn, but it comes with some caveats. Now, one problem when it comes to iron is that it doesn't last very long. You usually only get results for around 2 weeks, and then the color starts to fade. The second problem is that you have the potential to stain your concrete orange or brown. And unfortunately, a lot of iron products will stain your concrete if it sits on it. Now, ironite is the most popular iron product you can get at a big box store, and what really sucks is that this product will stain. These stains are almost impossible to fully remove once they stain, so you want to avoid it if you can. The last problem is that granular iron is crazy expensive. This little 15-pound bag of ironite costs $27 and it only covers 5,000 square feet. Look, it's great for a one-time green up, but after that, it's not sustainable if you have a large lawn. There is a product you can dissolve in liquid and spray on your lawn called Feature. This product does not stain concrete and is much better priced than ironite, but you do have to go through all of the mess and hassle of spraying it on your lawn. I show you how to do it in this video right here. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said there would be ways to combine these products to get the ultimate dark lawn. And the good news is that iron and nitrogen are compatible. So for those of you looking for a 2-in-1 solution, you can buy this fertilizer right here. It's a very small prilled ammonium sulfate to get the deepest green possible, and it contains 4% iron that will not stain your concrete. I know a lot of people have a hard time getting their hands on ammonium sulfate, so this is an easy way to get it delivered right to your doorstep. Now, it's definitely not going to be as cheap as getting it from a co-op or feed store, but honestly, it's impossible to get very cheap fertilizer from anywhere to your front door because shipping costs are so much for heavy products. But this product right here is definitely going to turn your grass a very dark green. Now, there's another way to get your grass dark green, but I saved it until last because most of you are not going to want to hear this. But to tell you the truth, it's going to be to add naturally dark grass to your lawn. I hate to break it to you, but with some grass, no matter how much nitrogen and iron you put on it, it's just not going to get as dark as you want it to be. And that's because genetically, it's impossible for some grasses to get dark. If I'm being honest with you, this is the most important thing when it comes to a dark lawn. And that's the types and varieties of grass that you put in it. Some grass is just naturally dark, and when you add both nitrogen and iron to it, it pops out of the neighborhood. This is actually one of the reasons I killed my own lawn and started over. I wanted a much darker grass, but it just wasn't possible without starting over. I did all the research and hunted down some of the darkest varieties I could find, and it made a huge difference. Now, you don't have to completely kill your lawn and start over like I did. You can also overseed your lawn. What that means is that you're going to be adding dark grasses into your existing lawn and slowly darkening it over time with each overseed that you do. Now, if you're looking for the darkest grass seed that you can possibly find, this is it. It's called NightShift perennial ryegrass, and it's composed of the 2 darkest varieties scientifically tested over the last 5 years. Now, if ryegrass doesn't grow well in your area, there's also a very dark turf-type tall fescue and Kentucky bluegrass blend. Now look it, if you add nitrogen and iron to this NightShift grass seed, it's darkness on a whole different level. I mean, it's honestly insane. I give you the step-by-step process on how I overseeded NightShift into my lawn in this video right here. Now get off my lawn.